Hey guys, how you doing? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report with a college football strength of schedule, strength of cycle edition. And what I'm going to do in this segment, I'm going to take a look at all the games on Championship Saturday, and I'm going to give you the strength of schedule of all these teams, how they did against other teams of the similar strength that the opponent's facing. So it gives you an idea when this team plays a team that has the exact same record or 60% or higher record, how does that team do, right? Some teams, they'll beat the beatables and they play those 500 teams. They don't do as well. And let's see how they do against teams that are exactly like them. And we'll start off first with the Big 12 championship between Baylor and Oklahoma State. Now the Cowboys a 5.5 point favorite, 45.5. When I look at Baylor against A-type teams this year, only three occurrences, right? So they played Oklahoma, they played BYU, and they played Oklahoma State already. They're 2-1 straight up, and against the point spread, 1-2 to the under. The average score was 29-17. And if you look at the line, when Baylor's an underdog in those type of games against A-type teams, they're 3.75 underdogs, so they're a 5.5 point underdog today. And when you look at Oklahoma State, and we'll bring up the Cowboys right here. And let's go Oklahoma State against A-type teams this year. You can see they had 4 games against, Oklahoma, Iowa State, Texas. Now, if you're saying, hey, Ron, Texas not an A-type team, you got to remember, this is back on October 16th, and Texas must have had a winning record at that time. And so that's why, and again, we live in the moment, right? On October 16th, Texas was an A-type team, so the perception that day, they were a good team because they were an A-type team with a record above 500. And look at Oklahoma State's record on the season right here. They are 3-1, 3-0-2, and let me see here. How come I'm getting there? 3-1, 3-0-2, 3-0-1. Sorry, 3-0-1. And then if you look at the average score, 27-25. The average total of those totals were 50.88. But when Oklahoma was a favorite in those games, they were a 4-point favorite against those A-type teams, and they are a 5.5 point favorite here today. Let's go to that MAC edition. You got Kent State, the only B-type team in the today's championship game, so against an A-type team this year. And when Kent State played those A-type teams this year, 1-3 straight up, 1-3 against the number, and the average score was 46-23. So could be could be interesting today when they face Northern Illinois. But Kent State does have a good running game, so we'll give them that right there. All right, let's go to Northern Illinois, and there we go against B-type teams. Now, keep in mind, Kent is the only B-type team. They are 3-1 straight up and against the number. 32-31 was the average score. And normally against those teams, they were a 21-point favorite, and they're an underdog today. So it gives you an idea the strength of schedule on some of these games, right? All right, Utah State Aggies taking on the San Diego State. So let me see here. So this is the Mountain West Classic right here, championship game. And they're playing an A-type team. So Utah State against those A-type teams, 1-1 straight up and against the number. 32-41 is the average score. And so a high-scoring affair. So you might see a high-scoring game here today. And Utah, when they're in that situation, they're normally an 8-point dog. Let's take a look at San Diego State. So let's go San Diego State against A-type teams. And wow, look at that. They've had a lot of games against those A-type teams. So we'll take this one out. That was a feed error. 4-1 against the 4-1 straight up, 3-2-1 against the point spread. 19-19 is the average score. And you can see when San Diego State's in this role, they were a one and only been a favorite once against A-type teams. So this is going to be an interesting matchup here today against the Aggies. Houston. So we got the Houston Cougars taking on Cincinnati. So against A-type teams, only 1 occurrence is right there. That's not looking well for Houston. Only facing a quality opponent just once. And Cincinnati only twice. Temple at that time on October 8th. And Notre Dame, and we know what happened right there, so they're 2-0 in that situation. App State, let's go to, what happened there? Lost our feed. There we go. Let's go to App State. Appalachian State against A-type teams this year. 2-1 straight up and against the number. 34-19 is the average score, and they are normally a 7.25 favorite, but they're only a 2-point favorite today against the Raging Cajuns. The average score, 34-19. 0-3 to the under. Look at that. 0-3 to the under. I forgot to mention some of the unders in the other ones. All right, let's go to the Raging Cajuns, UL Lafayette. So let's go to UL Lafayette against those A-type teams. 1-2 to the under. We didn't forget this time. 3-0 straight up, 2-1 against the number. The average score is 24-25, and they were normally when underdog. They're a 4-point underdog. Today they're only a 2-point underdog. So they played Liberty. They played App State originally, and South Alabama. So interesting. And this is what I love about this this forecast database. It goes and pits that team against another good team that they face early in the year. All right, the one you all been waiting for, the big daddy of them all, Georgia taking on Alabama. And Georgia against A-type teams. You can see here 6-0, obviously 5-1 against the number, but 2-4 to the under. The average score is 25-17. Maybe we'll see that today. And they were normally an 18-point favorite against A-type teams, but you won't be an 18-point favorite against Bama. And let's go to Bama and see how they've done against A-type teams this year. 4-1 straight up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3-2-1 against the number. 31-27 is the average score, so a high-scoring affair, and they've never been a dog in that situation. All right, so let's go to the other game between Iowa and Michigan. So Iowa, let's go Iowa right here against Michigan, A-type team. And the Hawkeyes, 3-1 straight up and against the point spread, 3-1 to the over, and 17-29 was the average score. So that's pretty interesting right there. So you're looking at a total of what here? 46. And what's the total in that game? Total in that game is 43. So it does like it to go over in those 3 games, 3-1 to the over. Maybe the over is where you want to go in that game. And look at that. They've never been a dog against A-type teams. So a new role today for the Hawkeyes. And then Michigan took care of business against finally Ohio State, right? So Michigan A-type teams, 2-1 straight up, 3-0 to the over. So again, the over might be the way to go tonight in the Iowa-Michigan game. The average score, look at that, 47-23. I think that's the best bet on the board today if you're going to play that. And let's go to Pittsburgh and against Wake Forest. So let's go Pittsburgh against Wake. And you can see that 2-0, 1-1 to the over-under, 30-29. What's the total in that game? 71. Wow. So maybe the under is where you want to go in this one. And let's take a look at Wake Forest against A-type teams. And 5-1 straight up, 3-3 against the number, 5-1 to the over, and the average score is 40-41. Wow, high scoring affair. So you got one hand, you got the under, and this one you got the what did I have for Pitt again? I can't remember. Was it over? 5-1. Look at the average score, 40-41, and normally they're a 3.5 point underdog, and they are 4 points. So right there in that range. Let me do Pitt again. I just had a senior moment right there. All right, let's go Pitt. A-type team, 1-1. Okay. And the Who Cares Bowl championship of the day, Southern Cal. So USC. All right, Southern Cal against C-type teams. Cal's a C-type team. 2-1 to the over, 3-0, 3-1, 3-0 straight up, 2-1 against the number. 28-26 was the average score, and they were normally a 15-point favorite. And then we'll do Cal against B-type teams. So B means they're 50% or higher, 50, and there's no occurrences. All right, so there you have it. That is the strength of schedule, strength of cycles for the championship Saturday college football. Hopefully that helps you out, but I think Iowa, Michigan looks to be the best bet on the board today for a Saturday, December 4th. Again, folks, don't forget, if you enjoy these videos, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner. Cheers.